Gospel according to St. John.
Glory to you, Lord.
The sisters of Lazarus sent word to Jesus, saying, Master, the one you love is ill. When Jesus heard this, he said, This illness is not to end in death, but is for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was ill, he remained for 2 days in the place where he was. Then after this he said to his disciples, Let us go back to Judea. When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary sat at home. Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, Your brother will rise. Martha said, I know he will rise in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus told her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, even if he dies, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord. I have come to believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, the one who is coming into the world. Jesus became perturbed and deeply troubled and said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Sir, come and see. And Jesus wept. So the Jews said, See how he loved him. But some of them said, Could not the one who opened the eyes of the blind man have done something so that this man would not have died? So Jesus, perturbed again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay across it. Jesus said, Take away the stone. Martha, the dead man's sister, said to him, Lord, by now there will be a stench. He has been dead for 4 days. Jesus said to her, Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? So they took away the stone. And Jesus raised his eyes and said, Father, I thank you for hearing me. I know that you always hear me. But because of the crowd here, I have said this, that they may believe that you sent me. And when he had said this, he cried out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, tied hand and foot with burial bands, and his face was wrapped in a cloth. So Jesus said to them, Untie him and let him go. Now many of the Jews who had come to Mary and seen what he had done began to believe in him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
We hear this particular reading, or at least a shortened version of it, at many of our funeral masses. And many times at those funeral masses, I speak about how Mary and Martha, close friends of Jesus had spent many times dinners and moments in their home, came and were grieving in their own ways. And Martha, in many ways, the one who was always busy in the kitchen, always concerned about hospitality, is the first to confront, and I use that word, confront Jesus. Because as we hear from the crowd, couldn't the one who opened the eyes of the blind one, couldn't the one who had healed so many other paralytics, couldn't the one who could cast out demons, why could he not have saved Lazarus? Martha, in her grief, felt this way. And Mary later, in gospel would also express her sorrow. But both sisters, even in their grief, maintained their faith and trust in the Lord Jesus, even at a moment of grief and of pain. And Jesus himself wept. Now we know in the gospel there is in many ways that happy ending where Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead and returns him to his family. In our moment that we're facing as a church, as a community, as a world, as we face together the coronavirus, this pandemic, yes, there have been many sacrifices asked of us, not being able to come together as a community to celebrate Mass, not being able just to socialize and be together and do the things that we normally do. But as we've been saying, we trust in God. We believe in the science and all the medical professionals who are here to help us get through this. But we're also called to be safe and many times stay at home. Not just for our good, but for the good of one another. And just like Martha and Mary, who were going through this particular moment of grief, we as a community are going through a particular moment that is difficult. But if we trust in the Lord, if we listen and do all that our medical professionals are asking us to do, then together we will get through this storm and come out stronger. I dare say even holier from all the prayers we're offering in our homes here in Gloucester and Rockport and around the world. So from this gospel today, let us take that encouragement to continue to trust in the Lord and the faith that has been given to us, to continue to practice all that is asked of us in good hygiene and social distancing, and let us always, always ever pray together.